Hi, my name's Adeli. I'm from Make It Pop. I'm here to talk to you today about creative confidence. So before I start, just to plug our business, Make It Pop. We're social on social media. So if you like anything about this talk, feel free to let us know on one of the platforms below. So a bit about myself. I'm a UX UI designer. Currently work at Turnitin. Um, I have been there for just over a year. I also run a business called Make It Pop, which is designed to help people become more creatively confident and to implement design thinking in a really fun way into the workforce and their day to day. We do that with gaming and other methods as well. So today I'm talking about creative confidence, and the first question right off the bat, if you don't know what it is what is creative confidence? So at its core, creative confidence is about believing in your ability to create change in the world around you. It's become very popular because of the Idea brothers, so Tom Kelly and David Kelly. They wrote a fantastic book, as you can see on the right, called Creative Confidence, and they have some fantastic TED Talks which I recommend, talking about their journey and understanding creative confidence. So why is creative confidence important? So I think that creative confidence helps you and empowers you to really want to, have a seat at the table, talking to other creatives if you are not a creative about things that you think they should do, helping them, generate better ideas and stuff like that. It also empowers you to challenge something creatively and helps with imposter syndrome. So people confuse artistic with creative. Everyone is creative. Maybe not everyone is artistic, but everyone is creative. So you can be a creative architect, you can be a creative accountant, you can be a creative plumber, which I don't know if that's a good thing. But yeah, you can be creative in anything you do. It also helps with imposter syndrome. So here's a really detailed diagram and explanation of what imposter syndrome is. So let's say you've got an awesome idea, you share your idea, and people don't give you good advice. Maybe they give you terrible advice. They tell you your idea is terrible, and as a result, you die a little inside. You don't really want to share ideas again. So when it comes to the next time you have an awesome idea to share, you're a bit more reluctant to share it, and eventually becomes a habit where you don't share your ideas as much or at all. So imposter syndrome, at its core, is rating your abilities lower than what they actually are. So that's not good. It leads to things like undercharging, which is failing to realize your worth and skills. Let's say you're a freelancer or contractor, you are charging a lower rate because you don't feel like you deserve to charge a higher one. Taking fewer risks, so you're constantly playing it safe. You are not going to really do anything out of the box, and that's because you're scared of maybe being rejected or people in your eyes finding out that you're not good at what you do, which isn't true. Stunted growth, so let's say there's a position that opens up, you don't go for it because you don't feel like you are ready for that role, you don't feel like you're at that level, and a general negative attitude, which is quite crappy. You put others down to make yourself feel better. So um, I've definitely in my career experienced imposter syndrome, and I can identify people in my career that have had these different attitudes, including myself. I don't know if you can do the same. But there's a complete opposite of imposter syndrome, which is the Dunning-Kruger effect, and that's rating your skills higher than what they actually are. So that leads to things like arrogance. Everyone loves an arrogant person, especially in the creative industry. If you're arrogant, it's incredible. That's sarcasm. Excessive confidence. So that's when you fail to see potential problems because you think you're incredible and you cannot make any mistakes. Stubbornness as well. Biting off more than you can chew. So you think you can handle every single touch point of the project from the beginning to the end. You don't need any help. And because of that, you fail to realize potential problems and make more mistakes and you're biting off more than you can chew. Following trends, so you know that person that will read an article once and think they're an expert in it, and then start trying to educate you on a particular subject. It's not really fun. And there's a diagram for Dunning-Kruger. So let's say you are starting off in a particular industry, or particularly you've learned a new skill. You haven't got really any experience, but your confidence is sky high. You think you can take on the world. Everything is easy. Of course it's easy. But the more experience you get, you realize how much you have not, how much experience you don't have, and how much you need to learn, and your confidence as a result plummets. And by the time you actually reach the expert level, your confidence isn't as high as it was when you started off. I could say that when I started for the creative industry, I thought design was easy. You just use Photoshop and that's it. By the time I've been doing this for over 10 years, I would not consider myself an expert, but I know that that's probably me having Dunning-Kruger. And there's a fine line between confidence and being confident and egotistical. There's a particular person here, I'm not going to mention who he is, that people will often debate, sometimes heated, and say he's either confident or egotistical. If you don't know who this is, then yeah. But if you do, I'd love to know contact us on social media or contact me and tell me what you think, if you think he's confident or egotistical. So I'm going to present a life lesson here, which is to take a step back and just review everything. So right now, this is a harmless hoodie. There's nothing wrong with this hoodie, it's just a hoodie. No problems whatsoever. However, now, there might be a slight problem. Now, if you can't identify that problem, that's fine. I'll go over it soon. But there's a little bit of a problem. And it's not really a good one, especially in a PR point of view, it's quite terrible. So now we have a slight problem, and someone can still flag the problem before it becomes public. We all make mistakes, but right now it's not public. So you've got the parents of the model, the stylist, makeup artist, photographer, the photographer's assistants, the retouch artist, the creative directors, marketing managers, marketing assistants, and so on. They can just point and say, hey, this is a bit of a problem. Well, it didn't. So then this hoodie went live on H&M and it became a bit of an issue. People were not happy and now they have a big problem. Media started going on and was saying H&M embarrassed. H&M removed controversial monkey hoodie after outrage over racist photo of boy. Telegraph does the same. Apologizes for image of black child wearing coolest monkey in a jungle hoodie. For Guardians, the same. H&M apologizes over image of black child in monkey hoodie. So this has become something that I don't think anyone intended it to be. I don't think it was supposed to be something that was viewed that negatively. But they missed the mark, and yeah, someone could have spoke up and said, hey, this is a bit of a problem. I don't think this is a good idea. And even celebrities, such as The Weeknd, who is a pretty famous R&B singer, who had a collaboration with H&M, said, woke up this morning shocked and embarrassed by this photo. I'm deeply offended. I will not be working with H&M anymore. The end. He's cut ties. His collection. He's not collaborating with them anymore. Then you had someone chiming in saying, hey, my mum and aunt called me a monkey when I was growing up. It's a cute nickname for little kids. Ever heard the story of 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed? It's so innocent. You have an issue by turning it into something it's not. And if any of you have kids, you'll know about Little Baby Bum, Little Baby Plum? Oh gosh, that song comes on all the time. Terrible 3D animation and all. But someone chimed in and said, no one asked a white person. So it's become a racial issue. It's a racial issue. From just an innocent little hoodie has become something so racially charged. It could have been prevented by just switching models. And then it even became more of an issue in South Africa, where people were so hurt by it that there was protest.
Is this allowed? Woo! Ninja style, ninja style. Oh, god damn. Oh, ninja. Yeah, yeah, ninja.
So yeah, just a bigger issue than it was initially, and now we've got a massive problem on our hands. So someone could have stopped this, someone with creative confidence, right? I mean, the parents of the model stepped in and said, look, this isn't an issue. You're crying wolf. And as a result, people said that she's ignorant and governed by her greed, pimping her kid. She's just trying to make money. And there's an aftermath. So the family had to move out of their home, and the parent explained that they no longer have their normal family life. The profits of H&M plunged after its racist monkey hoodie ad. The retailer piled up garments worth more than $4 billion. People were selling the hoodie on eBay for £1,400 or €1,600. The profits fell by 62% in the first quarter because of the unsold clothes. And yeah, everyone loses. So now what? I just told you a big problem. How can they fix it? Well, here are examples of how H&M demonstrated creative confidence. So with creative confidence, you need a growth state of mind. So that's learning from what you've done. So a growth state of mind is a passport to new adventures, and a willingness to grow and take small or big steps I'm going to start that again. Willingness to grow and take small or big steps, overcoming fear, embarrassment, and failure. So this was an epic fail from H&M, and they moved on from it. Then there's daring and learning. That is believing in yourself as an advocate of change. So people could have spoke up, but now they're making an effort to do that. They're learning from your mistakes and failures, and if you first do not succeed, that's a lyric from a song from Malia, you pick yourself up and try again. And then creative sparks and insights. So you can find creativity in the unlikeliest of places, and often you have to look outside the box and look at what you can do to improve. While embracing the crazy, some ideas can seem absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, there's always legs to them. Then there's the do something mindset, which is to tinker and tweak and don't ponder and procrastinate. So constantly working on something, small steps. And there's a Japanese methodology called the Kaizen methodology, which stands for continuous improvement, continuous small improvements, which is every day you do something small to improve in yourself. And then finally your calling, which is to seek your passion, experiment, and take risks. And last but not least, building an innovative culture and team. So, teamwork makes the dream work, and getting out of your comfort zone. So what H&M did was they hired a new head of inclusion and diversity called Izine Kubiri. She's from Nigeria, and H&M now are regarded as one of the most forward-thinking businesses in regards to taking race into consideration and being diverse and inclusive. So from a massive PR disaster, they implemented aspects of creative confidence to turn that completely around, improve their business, go inward, look at what they did wrong, and improve as a whole. With creative confidence, there's times where you would be presented with an idea that you may or may not like, it's your job to speak up and say, look, this isn't good, in the most diplomatic way. Don't go around and say, no, it's terrible. But in a diplomatic way, saying that this isn't something I like, or sharing your opinion is extremely important. In the instance of H&M, it seems like they didn't do that. It could have been the fact that they, like the mother said, they were dealing with hundreds of hoodies and hundreds of clothes, and that was just one they didn't give an afterthought to. But there were so many people in that process, from that end-to-end process, that would have stopped them and be like, hey, there's a problem here. Just always make sure to do that, I think, is one of the main aspects of creative confidence. I really recommend you reading the book as well. So my tips for gaining creative confidence and dealing with imposter syndrome are to read, like I mentioned before, the Kaizen methodology, seeking feedback. So feedback can often sting. It may hurt in the long term, so in the short term, but will definitely help in the long term. Always critique your work. So don't always release things and thinking it's perfect. Always look back, circle back, and see if there's areas you can improve. And it's all about perspective. Because perspective is a very funny thing. You may tell yourself you're not good enough, but you are. And you may sometimes tell yourself that something's perfect, and it may not be. And I'm going to leave on a bit of a cliffhanger, because normally I use this bit to talk about, to lead into design thinking, which uses a lot of aspects in creative confidence. But if you're a design thinker or have interest in it, then I definitely recommend you reading the book Creative Confidence by the Idea Brothers, or even just checking out their TED Talks, which are awesome. But there's lots of aspects of creative confidence that apply to design thinking, and I don't have time to go over them today. So again, it's a cliffhanger. Thank you very much for listening to my talk. I hope you have a nice day.